Mediterranean couscous salad. All right, let's talk about couscous for a second. What is it besides fun to say? It's named twice. So, couscous, and the couscous we're going to use today is a really small pasta. A lot of people confuse couscous and think it's a grain, and it's understandably why they think it's a grain, because it's so tiny. It looks like a grain, but it really is a pasta, a teeny tiny pasta. There's different kinds of couscous. You can get pearled couscous, and they're just bigger little balls, really. This couscous, super tiny, but Israeli couscous and pearled couscous are going to be perfect little spheres, little pasta balls. If you were to cook the other kinds of pearled couscous or Israeli couscous that are the spheres, like really great, perfect spheres, these are just kind of tiny little nuggets of pasta. You want to make sure that you cook those ones like pasta, to where you'll have a lot of boiling water. You cook them, drain them, and then if you're going to use them for later or like make a salad, I would suggest really rinsing them, and then coating with oil. Couscous likes to stick together a lot, so if you don't oil it or use it right away with whatever thing that you're making, it sticks together. So just know that couscous sticks a lot. But with this couscous, you don't cook it like pasta. It is a pasta, but you're not going to cook it like pasta. This one has a ratio, like a grain does. So that's why a lot of people maybe think it's a grain, because it's treated so much different than an actual pasta. The fun thing about it is when we think about the ratio, it's pretty easy. It's 1 to 1. So when we have 1 cup of couscous, we're going to need 1 cup of water. Pretty easy in that sense. And we're just going to let it steep with the water over it. So it's not going to hang out in boiling water like it does pasta. We're going to put our couscous in a pan, put boiling water over the top, and then let it steep and kind of absorb the hot water, put plastic wrap over it, and just let it be for a little bit. So let's get into it and you'll see how all that works. So my couscous amount I'm going to use is a cup. So I have this kind of shallow, flat pan. And you want something kind of shallow and flat. Try not to use a bowl for this. Because a bowl, the sides come up, right? I want to have my pasta, my couscous, kind of lay flat, so that when I put the water on it, the water is going to cover. But if I have a bowl, the water tends to go down below and the couscous comes up top. So try to find something flat enough to hold your couscous and your water. So if I have a cup of couscous, I need a cup of water. Okay. So my steps here say place the dry couscous in a baking dish, flat surface and high sides, just like I talked about. So your first 2 blanks, you have flat and high. So you want a flat surface, high sides. We're going to sprinkle some salt over the dry couscous. So we want to season it a little bit. And we want our lemon zest in there. So my lemon zest, just the outer yellow part of my lemon. I'm going to use a microplane to get that off. You can use a grater. You could also try to use a knife to shave just the outer yellow bit off of your lemon. Try not to get down into the white. So once you've kind of taken a layer off from the yellow and you see the white is the pith and bitter. So you don't want that in there. But the great thing about the outside zest is there's lots of oils in there. So even just as I start to zest, I'm going to get very aromatic of lemon in here. That zest is going to go over the top of my couscous. I'm going to pour hot boiling water on top of my couscous with the lemon, and that lemon, the hot water is going to get to the lemon and the oils, and it's going to season my couscous up. So I'm going to have lots of lemon flavor in here, but it just does a great job at helping to season my plain pasta, my plain couscous. So my zest, it says juice and zest from 1 lemon. So I have my cup of water in here. So let's get this on so it can hopefully come to a boil here shortly. And then I have my cup of couscous with my salt, and then now I'm going to zest my lemon. So zesting while hopefully my water is going to come to a boil soon. So you can see just taking 1 pass with my microplane is just enough. I don't really want to go any further than that. I'll get into the pith, the white part of the peel, and it's going to be bitter. I don't want that in my salad. So that microplane collects everything really nicely. So dump that in there, but I want to spread it around a little bit so it's not all in one place. So then we're going to carefully pour the hot water over the couscous, make sure to get the water evenly distributed. And then once the water is in the pan, cover immediately with plastic wrap and let sit 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So once my water comes to a boil, it's going to go right over here, plastic wrap, and it's just going to steep. But then that couscous is going to cook. The lemon zest is really aromatic. The oils are coming out of that lemon zest and flavoring my pasta. The salt is in there doing extra work for me as well. And then in the meantime, I can prep all my vegetables because this is going to be a cold salad. Everything will just come together. So let's wait for this water to come to a boil first. Okay, water just under a boil. So carefully, sides of my pot are quite hot. So I do want to kind of pour kind of around if I can help it, and or shimmy my pan to make sure that I do have water everywhere, all in the corners, all of that. I'm going to wrap with plastic. Because I want to trap in some of that heat so it kind of steeps in with the steam and everything here. So like I said, now I can work on prepping all of my other vegetables. So prep your other vegetables and put into a large bowl. So I'm going to prep everything and just put it here while I wait for this. Let's grab a timer. How about that? That's probably smart. 10 minutes. There we go. All right, Kalamata olives. Used these before. Remember, they can be a little salty. So my amount for Kalamata olives is going to be a 1/4 cup sliced in quarters. So as I was saying, they're going to be a little salty, so we just want to be aware that we're kind of cutting them a little smaller if we're find the saltiness of the Kalamata olives a little offensive, then just cut them a little bit smaller. So you can rough chop them if you want to. I like the nice look of a 1/4. These are already cut in half, so I just need to cut them in half one more time. A 1/4 cup of quartered Kalamata olives. All right. A 1/4 cup of cucumber diced. Skin on or skin off, it's up to you. Let's do skin on. Let's shoot for that. See where that gets us. So So when you're dicing everything, we talk a lot about our knife skills, so making sure that your knife skills, you have consistency with your cuts. This salad, nice small couscous. So we want to make sure that our cuts are small. We're not going to probably ever mimic the size of the couscous for this example because our couscous is so small. But we do want smaller cuts so that things kind of blend together and hold together. You eat this with a fork or a spoon, that you're getting a nice blend of both vegetables and couscous for your salad. And that all your vegetables are of the same size with each other as well, so that they kind of fold nicely into your salad. All right, save those guys. I got another use for them. A 1/4 cup of cucumbers, diced. And then for this one, the recipe was written for 8 cherry tomatoes. 8 cherry tomatoes cut in quarters. I don't have cherry tomatoes, I have a Roma tomato. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of diced tomato. So if you've got cherry tomatoes, great. If you've got another type of tomato, definitely work well, but I'm gonna shoot for about a 1/4 cup of tomato. Two stalks of green onions sliced on a bias. These are big ones. Two stalks of green onions. All right. I like to pick off anything that I'm probably not going to use, things that get kind of beat up. Cut off the top. Let's give it a quick rinse. And then my bias cuts, remember that's just at an angle. So instead of cutting just straight up and down this way, I'm going to give it my knife an angle here. So I have something that's just a little bit more visually appealing versus just straight up and down. And I'm getting into the white part of the onion, so I'll go ahead and stop. If I was cooking with it, I'd probably go further all the way down into the root, but since it's going to be raw, I'll stop just right at the white part of the onion. Half a cup of bell pepper, small dice. So again, just being aware of the size of my dice. So I like to cut the pepper in half first, and then I'll use my paring knife to cut around the top and then grab that membrane kind of on my way out. Trim up any other membrane that's left. And then now to dice, I've got this great half skin side down, and I can have really nice dice here. lots of different colors of bell peppers. I chose the orange because I got the green in there a couple times, the onion and the cucumber. I have red from the tomato. Oops, we're gonna do half a cup. So I chose the orange one to help kind of just have a nice balance of color. So half a cup of my diced bell pepper. And then we're going to do half a cup of feta cheese. Feta cheese, it says diced small. This is already crumbled, which is just perfect for what I need. Half a cup of feta. All right, 1 tablespoon fresh oregano chopped. Well, I didn't grab oregano from the store, but I have parsley. So I'm going to substitute mine with parsley. I would much rather have oregano, but I didn't grab it at the store. And going to the store is not my favorite, so I'm not going back. All right, so parsley. But I have this parsley that I need to utilize, so how about we utilize some parsley? Parsley is going to be great. Oregano is going to be a little better. I do have dry oregano in the cupboard, but I'm not cooking this. My dry oregano is just going to be dry and kind of not delicious in my salad. So I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna try to utilize what I have, which is the parsley. So the total amount, 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon oregano is ideal, but this will be good. So with my fresh herbs, this parsley, even if I had oregano, we're going to use just the leaves only. I can kind of gather them and gently slice, chop, technically. But I want a nice even chop. I want to make sure I don't have big giant pieces left swimming around. It's nice when it's nice and small and just kind of confettied throughout your salad. Okie doke. So my vegetables are all prepped. All my knife work is done. I guess I gotta cut my lemon in half to juice it. And now my 10-minute timer is done. So let's take a look at our recipe. Once the pasta is done, drizzle with olive oil, fluff with a fork, and add the vegetables. So once the pasta is done, we're going to drizzle with the oil, we're going to fluff with a fork because it tends to stick together. The big couscous, when you cook it like pasta sticks, this kind of sticks together, so we're going to put a fork through there. So my olive oil, I want 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to drizzle that olive oil over the top, so while I fluff, it's getting hopefully in to my pasta. So just kind of running the fork through just to make sure that clumps are broken up. Doesn't have to be super, super perfect because I'm gonna toss all this together with my salad anyway. So anything that I may have missed, I'm just gonna probably get when I mix all my salad bits together. So this is just fine. And now I'm gonna add my couscous to everything I got going on in here. I can smell that lemon. All right, so we're gonna pour the vinegar, lemon juice, and sugar over the salad and toss well. Taste and adjust seasoning if needed. Okay, what do we got for all the rest of the stuff here? So I have juice and the zest from 1 lemon. My lemon is quite hearty, so I'm gonna start with just half the lemon, and I can always add more if I need it. And then we have 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Oops, 1, 2, 3. And I like to put that right over the pasta because the pasta tends to kind of drink it up pretty well and help flavor that pasta. Just a quick stir so I can kind of move that vinegar around. All right. Sugar. 2 teaspoons. And I want to sprinkle that around so I'm not going to get like a pocket of it anywhere. Make sure I sprinkle that around pretty evenly. And then with my half lemon here, salt and pepper. I already have a little bit of salt in my pasta, so maybe not go super crazy, but I will want some pepper. Lots of pretty colors happening, like this salad, because it's just super bright, really easy. So we need to taste and adjust seasoning if needed. It says serve immediately or store in the refrigerator up to 5 days. You may need to re-season and redress if stored overnight. So re-season or redress if stored overnight. It is a pasta, so the pasta tends to be thirsty, and it can kind of change your seasoning. So if you taste this now, it's perfect, but you're not going to serve it till tomorrow. Just give it a stir. Taste and then see if you need to maybe refresh with some fresh oil, refresh with some vinegar or lemon juice. Oh yeah, quite tasty, refreshing. So I think we got all our amounts. I had the 1 tablespoon of the fresh oregano. I used parsley. I had my juice from 1 lemon, juice and zest. I had the 3 tablespoons red wine vinegar, the 1 tablespoon of olive oil, the 2 teaspoons sugar, and my salt and pepper were to taste. I like them really, really fresh, so I would definitely want to be eating this now. Like it says, you can certainly serve it and have it kind of a week's of lunches. That would be fine. So there you have it. Mediterranean couscous salad.